Nighty night, little rabbit. Are you still woke? In the classical musical Showboat, in which the famous Negro baritone Paul Robeson sings that soulful song about the old man river who just keeps rolling along, a gambler by the name of Gaylord Ravenel, in a play within a play, and a dream within a dream, where he only pretends in make-believe to be a preacher or a parson, beneath whose somber garments of a cleric lay or lie a heart that beats for you and only you. Explained to his naive, new to love, and very infatuated lover, focused on feelings and not fixated on facts, an explanation for his untimely delay, stating that he had been so absorbed in deep meditation that he did not notice the sun go down, and had woken up surprised to be very, very late for his very important appointment. So, dreamer, are you still woke? Was Gay a player or a lover true? Tell them about the dream Mahalia Jackson told Dr. King on the Mall, and Langston Hughes infamously inquired what happens to a dream deferred. And if you are woke, truly woke, you may have been awakened to the fact that the poet never seems to answer the question as to whatever happens to a dream deferred, because the choice in free will, informed by reason, is up to you. Are you with me? Consider the poet's raisin in the sun, which thermal force transforms the nature and form to a grape, which with purpose may have been herded from the grapevine with all its sweetness en route to some sweet winery to crush and process. Consider then the poet's raisin in the sun, which thermal force in heat transforms the nature and form of a grape, which with alternative purpose may have been herded from the grapevine with all its sweetness en route to some scenic winery in the country to crush and process in fermentation to bring someone intoxication and pleasure, but which, fallen astray, becomes a dried up fruit en route perhaps to be someone's gentle laxative. Another poet, Lorraine Hansberry, made the choice to select this fruit from the many works of Langston Hughes, coincidentally a poet with the same initials, to write a play script about choices springing from the pursuit of dreams and challenged by environment and human character, finding a dream of a house in the suburbs with white folks for his son's mama, dry up from a conflicting dream for instant wealth when Willie done run off with the money. The play develops in narrative, dramatic presentation a range of choices determined by desires and pursuits in happiness, albeit not in the purest Jeffersonian form of perfect fulfillment of rights, as much as in the workings of the psychological Freudian principles of pleasure, with its antithesis of pain fixed in fatalistic determination by flaws in the nature of man and his environment. The protagonist only has the illusion of choices, but in the end has only one inevitable fate. Like the tragic heroes of Greek literary traditions of Aeschylus, destined to fall to be humbled, and then, in fictional telling, humbled to be exalted. The Langston Hughes poem about the dream from which all, at some point of singularity in nature, are destined to become awakened to a new reality, until those dreams may come as Shakespeare opined, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil and may give us pause, proceeds through a Socratic method familiar to some students of philosophy or even legal arguments in law school, in an eloquently flowing expression of both simile and metaphor, comparing the antithetical results from the dream's original form and thesis to project in prognosis a theoretical state of true and perfect knowledge in the future, albeit only theoretically hypothesized from the ivory towers of academia, yet determined by a familiar term of process. Does the dream dry up or fester, the poet asks. Upon fester, does it run in flight, asks the poet. But, oddly, in neglect of the natural alternative to a threatening environment to stand and fight. And in the truly engaging and inquisitive and enlightened mind, a rebellious spirit finds seeds of resistance and skepticism that might question the restricted results in choice imparted by this editorial discretion. The poet asks, like the salt of the earth that the parables taught might lose its savor, whether a dream deferred might begin to stink like rotten meat. A provocative and revolting suggestion, tempered kindly with a suggestion in alternative that it may somehow defy the gravity of the situation of neglect to crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet. Why should one feel discouraged, the poet seems to suggest? Why should the shadows come? Might visions of sugar plums dance in our heads, avert the possibilities that a dream deferred might just suspend itself in thin air without support to just sag like a heavy load? But might the prognostic state for a dream deferred proceeding on a determinate trajectory, and like the fated hero of the Hansbury play, all things at some point must come to an end. And the poet, interestingly, concludes with a provocative suggestion that a dream might actually explode, as many cities did in the aftermath of the assassination of Dr. King. In military science, an ambush is achieved by purposefully drawing an enemy into restricted corridors, canalizing that foe into a cul-de-sac, and then once the prey is trapped with nowhere to run and nowhere to fight, to engage from a position of advantage with enfilade fires. It is the method of the magician in direction and misdirection to produce stage illusion. It is the method of the artiste in the development of a story. And it is the method of chess master's skill of one engaged in oral argument to persuade one to believe that he or she has arrived at truth without coercion or manipulation. Pick a card, any card, only choice. If you are ever invited to a poker game and don't know who the sucker is, it is probably you. So before you cast your vote for the party of the people, you'd best be pretty damn sure that your name is on that very important list. I'm sorry, did I awaken you from your slumber? Nighty night, little rabbit.
This advertisement was authorized by Mike Webb.